What if the Philippines was a first-world country? Take a moment and picture it. Imagine a clean, gleaming skyline over Manila, free from the haze of traffic. Its streets are navigated by a fleet of silent, clean energy buses, making gridlock a distant memory for commuters and cyclists alike. Imagine trains that slide silently into stations, always on time, boasting a near-perfect 99.9% punctuality rate that makes daily commutes predictable and completely stress-free across the entire archipelago, connecting cities and towns with ease. Think about schools where every child has a bright future and hospitals that are counted among the very best in all of Asia. They earn top international accreditations for specialized care and are home to research centers pioneering globally recognized medical treatments. See a country with strong banks, smooth and modern roads, and high incomes for its hardworking families. This may sound like a dream today, but it is a dream that was once within reach. The Philippines had many chances, many golden opportunities to become a rich and powerful nation, a leader in its region. This essay will explore that powerful question. We will look at the incredible potential that the Philippines held, and in many ways still holds. It is a story of great promise, rooted in its geography, its resources, and the spirit of its people. We will examine the moments in history when the nation seemed poised for greatness, a star on the rise in Southeast Asia. Then, with a clear and steady eye, we will look at the difficult reasons why that bright future did not fully arrive. We will discuss the challenges that have held the country back, from the long shadows of its colonial past to the modern struggles with governance and disaster. The story of the Philippines is one filled with both immense hope and profound pain. It is not a simple tale of failure, but a complex tapestry woven with threads of resilience. Long before the world was mapped as it is today, the islands that would become the Philippines were a vibrant meeting point. They were a crossroads of the seas. Great sailors and determined traders traveled there from countless distant places. Merchants from the empires of China, from the kingdoms of India, from the deserts of Arabia. Long before the first ships from Europe appeared on the horizon. The archipelago sits on some of the most critical sea routes in all of Asia, a vital channel for global maritime trade. This strategic location is a tremendous natural advantage. Good, deep ports can become gateways for global trade, bringing in wealth, ideas, and opportunities from every corner of the world. The land itself is a treasure chest of resources. The earth is rich with valuable minerals, holding reserves of gold, copper, nickel, and chromite. As one of the world's top producers of nickel, a critical component for modern technology, this hidden wealth could fuel industrial growth. But its true potential can only be unlocked if managed with sustainable practices that protect both people and the environment. The soil is fertile and dark, blessed by a tropical climate that allows for year-round farming. There is no single harvest season, but a continuous cycle of planting and reaping, offering the potential for multiple high-yield harvests each year. The land can produce abundant crops of rice, coconuts, sugar, and tropical fruits. This natural bounty can feed a nation and create a powerful export industry. Beyond the fields and mines, the country is gifted with lush forests, mighty rivers, and an incredibly long coastline that stretches for thousands of miles. The seas around more than 7,000 islands are teeming with life, part of the world's most biodiverse marine ecosystem. Fish and other marine products provide food and livelihood for millions. With careful management and community cooperation, this bounty can be sustained for generations. Rivers can be harnessed for clean energy. Protected forests can support biodiversity and sustainable industries. A nation's greatest resource is never what comes out of the ground. It is the character and skill of its people. The Filipino people are the country's other great strength, a wellspring of talent and resilience. Around the world, Filipinos are known for being highly skilled, remarkably clever, and incredibly hardworking. They possess a unique ability to adapt, learn, and thrive in new environments. This trait is complemented by a widespread proficiency in the English language, a legacy of the American period that has become a major asset in the modern globalized world. Strong English skills open doors to international business, technology, and service industries, giving the country a competitive edge. This has given rise to the large and influential Filipino diaspora. Millions live and work abroad. Middle East, North America, Europe. They send earnings back home as remittances, a lifeline for families, paying for education, healthcare, daily needs. Remittances form a major pillar of the national economy. There was a moment in its history, a shining period of promise when the Philippines looked like it was on a clear path to becoming one of Asia's great success stories. During the early and mid-20th century, especially under the American administration, the country made remarkable strides in building the foundations of a modern nation. A massive investment was made in public education, creating a widespread system of schools that reached even remote towns and villages. The establishment of the University of the Philippines set a high standard for higher learning. This focus on education produced a generation of skilled and knowledgeable citizens ready to build and lead. As a result of this educational push, the Philippines achieved one of the highest literacy rates in all of Asia by the middle of the century. An educated populace is the bedrock of a thriving democracy and a dynamic economy. At the same time, the country was rapidly modernizing its physical infrastructure. A network of new roads, sturdy bridges, modern ports connecting the islands and facilitating the movement of goods and people like never before. Public health programs were also implemented on a large scale. Yet, despite this bright promise, the Philippines did not become a first-world country. The path to prosperity was blocked by a series of deep and persistent problems. Many of these problems have roots buried deep in the nation's history. The long period of Spanish colonization, more than 300 years, left a lasting and difficult legacy. This system, built on extraction, created a culture where personal connections often mattered more than formal rules, a pattern that would persist for centuries. Power and wealth were concentrated in the hands of a very small elite, Spanish officials and a few favored local families. This created a rigid social structure and a vast gap between rich and poor. A central part of this legacy was land. The Spanish introduced large haciendas granted to a select few. Most rural people became landless tenants working fields they would never own. This entrenched inequality and left millions in perpetual poverty. Wealth was tied not to innovation. Perhaps the single greatest obstacle on the Philippines' path to development has been the persistent problem of weak institutions. Institutions are the fundamental rules, laws, and organizations that govern a country. An honest police force, fair and independent courts, a government bureaucracy that works for the people. For a country to prosper, these institutions must be strong, predictable, and trustworthy. In the Philippines, however, many of these critical institutions have remained weak and unreliable for decades. For example, securing business permits can become a maze of bureaucratic red tape, and tax collection can feel arbitrary. This unpredictability erodes trust. Laws are often passed but not consistently enforced, creating a sense of uncertainty and injustice. This weakness makes it difficult for local investors and foreign investors to do business. When the rules of the game can change suddenly, or when legal contracts are not reliably honored, people become cautious about investing their money. This hesitation stifles job creation and slows economic growth, trapping the nation in a cycle of underachievement. Another major factor holding the Philippines back is the persistence of political dynasties. In many provinces, cities' towns' political power is not open to everyone. Instead, it is held by the same few families passed down from one generation to the next like a family inheritance. Fathers are replaced by their sons' wives, by their husbands, siblings, trade positions among themselves. These dynasties use their long-held power to control local resources, government jobs, business opportunities, creating a closed system where outsiders and new leaders find it almost impossible to break in. These powerful families often have a strong interest in maintaining the status quo. They protect their own wealth and political influence, and they frequently block reforms that could empower ordinary citizens or create a more level playing field. This concentration of power in the hands of a few makes it very difficult to address long-standing issues like land inequality and a lack of economic opportunity. It keeps the gap between the rich and the poor wide. Remittances from overseas workers provide a crucial economic lifeline, but they come at a very high price. The phenomenon known as brain drain. Every year, many of the Philippines' most talented and highly skilled citizens leave the country for better opportunities abroad. Doctors, nurses, engineers, scientists, teachers. They take their expertise to countries where they can earn higher salaries and enjoy a better quality of life. While families benefit from the money they send home, the country's loss is significant. Adding another heavy layer of difficulty is the country's extreme vulnerability to natural disasters. The Philippines is located directly on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Frequent seismic activity, volcanic activity, earthquakes are a constant threat. Volcanic eruptions are a constant threat. The country lies in the heart of the typhoon belt. It's struck by an average of 20 typhoons every year. Some of these are among the most powerful storms on Earth. These disasters regularly destroy homes. They wipe out crops. They demolish critical infrastructure. The relentless cycle of destruction and recovery is a massive drain on the nation's resources and energy, billions of pesos that could be invested in education, healthcare.
Have you ever looked at a map and felt that something was missing, that the crisp lines and familiar names couldn't possibly tell the whole story? We trace the borders of countries with our fingers, assuming we know where one ends and another begins. But what if the most fascinating places aren't on the map at all? What hidden worlds, born from sheer will and imagination, exist just beyond our sight, tucked away in the forgotten corners of our own world? We're taught that nations are vast, sprawling territories defined by great oceans and towering mountain ranges, their legitimacy cemented by centuries of history. But what if the definition of a nation is more fluid? What if a country could be smaller, so small it could fit on a single acre of land? An idea made real, almost impossibly personal. To find one such place, you must travel deep into the sun-scorched desert of Nevada. Here, where the heat shimmers off the asphalt and the landscape stretches into an endless dusty horizon, you might feel like you're at the edge of the world. But you're actually approaching the border of another. It doesn't appear on any official atlas. It's a nation born not from war or treaty, but from a dream. Welcome to the Republic of Molossia. This is not a dream. This is not an elaborate theme park. Upon arrival, the formalities are immediate and surprisingly official. You are asked to present your passport for stamping at a small customs booth, and you are warned about contraband. Forget firearms or illicit drugs. Here, the prohibited items are far more peculiar. You must not bring incandescent light bulbs, catfish, or spinach into the Republic. These aren't jokes. They are the laws of the land. You have crossed into the sovereign territory of a real, functioning, and fiercely independent micronation. So what exactly a micronation? It's an entity that claims to be an independent state, but lacks official recognition from world governments. While many exist only online, Molossia is different. It is a physical place, with 1.3 acres of sovereign land, its own government buildings, a national bank, a post office, and a population of 38, and 3 dogs. It stands as a captivating monument to individual sovereignty, a testament to the idea that if you don't like the world you live in, you can build your own. Molossia challenges our fundamental understanding of what a country is. So, join us as we step across the border, leave the United States behind, and enter a nation hidden in plain sight. A country with its own currency, its own space program, and a long-standing war with East Germany. A country that, technically, no longer exists. Welcome to Molossia. Every nation has a founding story, a mythic origin that defines its character. But not all founding stories involve epic battles. Some begin with the boundless imagination of youth. For Molossia, the story begins on May 26, 1977. 2 teenage friends, Kevin Baugh and James Spielman, launched a nation-building project that would unexpectedly span a lifetime. Their creation was the Grand Republic of Voldstein. James was crowned king, Kevin the prime minister. Though imaginary, they drafted laws and designed a flag, laying the groundwork for a future state. Eventually, King James abdicated his throne and moved on. But for Prime Minister Baugh, the idea was a persistent vision he refused to abandon. For the next 2 decades, the nation was nomadic, a country of the mind that followed Baugh wherever he went. It transitioned through several forms, from a kingdom to a people's republic, all without physical territory. That all changed in 1998. On a quiet 1.3-acre plot of arid land near Dayton, Nevada, the dream finally found its soil, and the abstract became concrete. On September 3, 1999, the old Grand Republic of Voldstein was dissolved. In its place, the Republic of Molossia was officially declared a physical, territorial micronation. The name itself, Molossia, is derived from a Hawaiian word for calm seas, a poetic and hopeful choice for a nation born in the stark Nevada desert. His Excellency, President Kevin Baugh, leads as head of state and government. While a republic, Molossia functions as a benign dictatorship, with the president holding authority over a population consisting mainly of his family. To legitimize his claim, Baugh meticulously crafted the trappings of a state: a constitution, flag, and anthem. He built a tiny post office, customs station, and a national bank issuing its own currency, the Valora, pegged to Pillsbury cookie dough. Life in Molossia is governed by its own unique laws. Famously, catfish, onions, and walruses are banned. These eccentric rules reinforce that this place operates under a different authority than the United States surrounding it. Unrecognized by any world power, Molossia is legally private property. This creates a delicate dance. President Baugh pays local property taxes, but in his nation's narrative this is foreign aid to a neighbor, a clever theater fulfilling legal obligations without compromising sovereignty. Molossia's foreign policy is just as creative. It maintains ties with other micronations and is technically still at war with East Germany. Baugh claims a dormant military outpost was never included in treaties, leaving the state of war unresolved, a conflict fought by proclamation. This is how Molossia thrives, not through might, but through creative statecraft and the unwavering performance of sovereignty. There was no war for independence. Independence is lived daily. The detail is so thorough that the line between reality and performance blurs. Molossia exists because its people and visitors agree to let it, and in that shared agreement, it becomes real. Nestled in the Nevada desert, stepping into the Republic of Molossia feels familiar, and slightly askew. It's a self-proclaimed independent enclave entirely surrounded by the United States, where the ordinary rules don't quite apply. The official population? A handful of humans, President Kevin Baugh and his family, and several dogs who are counted as full citizens. It's a family, a government, and an entire populace all rolled into one. Yet it has a national anthem, a coat of arms, and even its own time zone. Molossian Standard Time runs 39 minutes ahead of Pacific Time. It's a deliberate declaration of independence, a constant reminder that this place operates on its own clock. Molossia's currency is the Valora, subdivided into futras. In a stroke of genius, it's pegged to the value of Pillsbury cookie dough. The logic is that while global markets fluctuate, the price of cookie dough remains relatively stable, providing a tangible and unique economic standard. The Bank of Molossia mints its own coins and prints detailed banknotes, making the economy tangible. The currency is sold to tourists as souvenirs, a physical symbol of independence, however quirky the backing. The borders are clearly marked, and visitors pass through customs. You'll declare firearms and tobacco, but the list of contraband has surprises. Catfish and onions are forbidden. And incandescent bulbs? Those are banned as part of a national modernization program. Your passport stamp becomes a coveted souvenir. President Baugh himself often leads the tours, offering a personal guide to his country's history. It's a rare opportunity to meet a head of state and get your passport stamped by him personally. The territory includes the president's home, a government house, and yards, plus 2 non-contiguous properties. New Antrim in Pennsylvania and the Desert Homestead Province in California solidify its status as a nation with reach, however symbolic. Laws and lore range from a famous spinach ban to national symbols like the wild horse. Daily life resembles any rural home, chores, cooking, dog walking, but it's all woven with a constant dedicated performance of nationhood. This performance includes a humble space program that launches model rockets and a Molossian navy of inflatable kayaks that maneuvers on Lake Tahoe. A postal service issues collectible stamps, and a website broadcasts decrees to the world. National holidays like Founders' Day and Victory Day are marked with small ceremonies that build a shared history. Through these rituals, Molossia asserts itself as a community with a past, a present, and a clear vision for its future. Every nation is defined by its laws. Molossia's legal code mirrors its leader. Serious principles with wonderfully strange prohibitions. Catfish are banned. The reason? A closely guarded state secret. Security laws require declarations. Environmental policy bans incandescent bulbs. The system is a self-described Republican dictatorship. Institutions exist, but power rests with the president. Decrees can be swift. The legal framework is functional and flexible. Perhaps the deepest law is belief. Visitors agree to respect the flag, the leader, and the rules, and so the state coheres. Molossia is, astonishingly, at war with a country that no longer exists, East Germany. In 1983, a young Kevin Baugh declared war as Voldstein's prime minister. Reunification came, but no peace treaty followed. A tiny Cuban island once gifted to East Germany is cited as unresolved. So the war lingers on paper and in spirit. With the United States, relations are peaceful if unrecognized, obligations reframed as foreign aid to coexist. The unspoken truce lets Molossia flourish, a brilliant miniature performance of international relations. Between war and peace, Molossia finds its place in the world. Behind the whimsy lies a benevolent dictatorship, executive, legislative, and judicial, embodied in one person. Uniforms, titles, and ceremony, a masterclass in political performance that makes the nation believable. It isn't about deceiving the audience, it's an invitation to join the story. Transparency and humor temper power. The website candidly explains the history, the government, and the quirks. Many decrees reflect personal preference, like the official ban on spinach. Less political strongman, more artistic director, ensuring every element serves a cohesive, entertaining whole. Is it a real country, an art project, a social experiment? The truth is, all of the above. No UN seat, a cookie dough peg, yet its impact is profound, sparking curiosity and wonder. Beyond armies and economies, stories, symbols, and shared purpose can build a nation. Molossia is a universe built on a grain of sand, a tiny model of civilization's grand experiment. A visit teaches governance, sovereignty, and culture in ways textbooks cannot. Remember, between the lines on any map, new worlds can be born.